Hey guys, what's up? Welcome back to my channel. In today's build, I really wanted to build a tiny home, and it doesn't end up being a micro home or a tiny home. It is tier 3 tiny home, so it's considered to be a small home. It is a 1 bedroom, 1 bathroom house. It's kind of like cottagey, so that's sort of what I was going for here. So I end up being like decently pleased with it. Small homes aren't really my thing. I don't think I've ever made one before, so this was definitely new for me. A lot of the times when it comes to my builds, I like to have more spacious areas, such as like a nice kitchen. I mean, just because I would love to have a big kitchen eventually when I own a home. So it's like whenever I build these homes, I'm like, well, we're giving them a nice big kitchen with nice appliances and things like that. So I was a little out of my comfort zone, I guess. It wasn't like what I'm defaulted to put in a house. So as you can see, the outside is blue with like a white trim. I used the Seasons windows, which I think just look really good with that thick white trim. Not super crazy about the black window panes, but overall it looks really cute on most swatches, I think, when it comes to like the exterior of a house. And I do this bright red door that I believe is from Nifty Knitting. I'm pretty sure it's from Nifty Knitting. And so when I placed that door, I was like, well, I really want to do like red accents in here. And I never really mess around with colorful appliances. So I ended up switching out these plain white ones to bright red ones. And I initially had put down the Country Kitchen kit ones. Then they weren't bright enough. So then I switched them out for the Parenthood ones. Therefore, I didn't have to, but I wanted my cabinets to match the refrigerator. That's the only thing I'm not crazy about that Parenthood refrigerator, how it has like the cabinetry like swatch on the outside, which it's all fine, but then you can't really like go and use, a base game cabinet or counter, I mean. So that's the only thing, but I do really like the way that this build turned out. I do end up changing a few things about it once I'm going through and play testing and just kind of learning who the person that lives here is a little bit better. And the layout was just kind of weird to me when I was playing in it and just looking at it. When I was initially taking my first round of screenshots, I was like, I just don't like the way that this house is. Like, I don't mind like walking into the kitchen, like that's whatever. I mean, a lot of apartments are that way and smaller homes are that way. So I didn't have an issue with that. It was more like, I don't know, the right in front, you'll see as it kind of comes together a little bit more here, but basically across from this on the opposite wall, like where the front door is where I end up, well, it doesn't stay this way. I end up changing it, but initially I had placed a TV down right there. And so basically the back of the couch was facing the kitchen. And it's fine, but just personally, like looking at it, it was kind of like a little bit of an eyesore to me. So it wasn't something that I felt super satisfied with. And I didn't really feel like, ooh, look at this cool build that I made, like personally, it just wasn't, I just didn't feel good about it. I don't know why I'm trying to like explain myself so much more, but that's basically it. So I ended up changing it up a little bit. I figure if we're going to move anything around, I could bring the kitchen table closer and basically put it in the kitchen, kind of like where it belongs. And I do end up getting rid of this cork board, but then later on at the very end, I decide to bring it back with all the postcards on it and everything. So I'm glad I did that because I was looking for wall decor. I know I've mentioned this before. I just suck at decorating the walls. So I'm really trying to work on that, I promise. And again, yeah, cluttering up the walls. So this is where I end up putting a TV, and it was, I don't know. It's one thing to like have something look cluttered and look really good, but this was like too busy. There was just too much going on here, and ultimately it just really came down to what I was deciding to use for furniture pieces. So all of these pieces are very pre-cluttered and busy, especially with all the different colors and things. So I do end up moving some things around and I feel like I ended up spreading it out very nicely in the end. Like I mentioned earlier, I was going for kind of like bright red accents in here. And I do end up changing a few things with the reds in here. So all the appliances stay the same. I end up switching out this computer chair for just one of the actual like kitchen table chairs. I just figure, she's probably got another one lying around. I feel like typically a set is, 4 chairs at least. So I just figured, okay, say that was like lying around in her storage. So she used it as a computer chair. To me, that just makes most sense. And then I do end up placing down a red couch. I believe it's the one, not from Nifty Knitting, it's from Tiny Living. I'm almost certain. And I wanted to use the Nifty Knitting because I end up making this person that lives here into knitting, so it only made sense. But the Tiny Living one, I liked the red swatch of it better. But then later when I was playing, I was like, okay, there's like actually too much red in here. Like it's almost not even like accents anymore. It's just like everything looks red to me. So I ended up switching out the swatch for the white swatch, and I think it ended up looking a lot better that way. There were a few things about this bathroom that I don't know what was going on, but it just wasn't, not that it wasn't functional, but my sim couldn't walk over near the hamper, which I thought was really weird because there was nothing in the way. And so I ended up moving a few things around later on. So you'll see that in the screenshots. So that way, whatever you see in the screenshots is what you're going to get if you do decide to download this build off of the gallery. I'm moving on into the master bedroom now. There are lots of reds in here as well. I figured since this woman likes to knit, it would only make sense to have a quilt. And I don't know, I just kind of imagine that she like made that quilt herself. And I just really like the way that this room turned out. I'm not crazy into using like I do like color in my builds, but not like this. To me, this is almost mismatched, but at the same time, it does still match very well in like a weird way. So I ended up keeping it that way. And I feel like for an elderly woman, I do still need to get into who I have living in this home because they will be available on the gallery as well. So I should probably get into that as well. But yeah, I have an elderly woman living here with her dog. And I guess, I'll just get right into it. So her last name is O'Keefe, and the only reason that is because when I was creating this sim, I wanted to give her like a really pretty kind of like classic name, and I chose the name Helena. I just thought it was really pretty, and I was just randomizing the last names, which I do a lot of the times just to kind of get inspiration and see if anything sparks my interest. And O'Keefe was one of the probably first few that I randomized, and I was like, Helena O'Keefe, yeah, that sounds good. So that's her name. She does have her 3 traits. They are loner, loves the outdoors, and good. I figured loving the outdoors and being a little bit of a loner works perfectly for this lot. You're a little bit more remote, even though you are in Windenburg and you aren't too far from civilization. You still are very much on your own out here. You're near some fishing spots and, you don't have any neighbors. So I figured that would be perfect for her. And her aspiration is the outdoor enthusiast. So I'm actually, right after this, I'm going to be taking her camping. And for those of you that don't know, I don't use any of the mods or like the cheats. I don't really know what's considered, but I guess it's a cheat. I don't think you need a mod to do this, but where you can gain your Sims skills and relationships and things like that without actually playing the game. But I do love playing Sims, and I do like creating more of a personality for these Sims. And obviously you can create them and not even play with them and make them have a personality, through cheats and things like that. But I don't know, to me, it kind of takes the fun out of the gameplay. So I personally, whenever you get a sim or a household off of my gallery, whatever skills and relationships they have, I created on my own. And to me, it was just a lot of fun to do it that way. So just keep that in mind, I guess. Well, actually, you don't even need to keep it in mind. I'm literally just like saying it. And then she does have, I don't know if you noticed, but I did place down, I believe already, yeah, a pet food bowl and some pet stuff. So I have never had any of my Sims have a fox before, and I figured with her out here, it kind of reminded me of the Fox and the Hound a little bit. So I was like, let's give her a fox. So her fox's name, he's a male, his name is Hunter, and funny enough, one of his traits is he's a hunter. And I kind of did that on purpose. I know it's kind of corny, but I was like, I mean, whatever, it only makes sense. And then he's also a troublemaker, which I'm almost certain is one of the defaulted traits that comes with a fox. So a lot of the times when I create Sims and pets and things like that, I always try to give them the best qualities and traits. And I'm just like, you know what, to be honest, like, well, let's be real here. Like, you're gonna have some like troublemakers, you know what I mean? So I just kept it. I figured, okay, what's the worst thing he's gonna do? Like, make a mess or roll around in a puddle. Like, it's not the end of the world. So he's a hunter, a troublemaker, and he's adventurous. So my Sim can go and take him on adventures in Brindleton Bay and things like that, which I think is a really fun way to just kind of like send your Sim off if you kind of want like, you know, a 10-second break from your Sims really quick. But like I mentioned earlier, I will make sure to add them to the gallery for you guys if you are interested in downloading them and moving them into this house. So now we are on to the landscape. I just placed some of these stones down, which I finally found a way to properly navigate through the debug catalog, and I don't know why I didn't think of this earlier. I feel kind of stupid, but before I would just scroll with the scroll bar, like that's off to the right, instead of scrolling with my mouse. Like, I don't know if that makes any sense. Like, obviously I'm using my mouse to use the scroll bar, but oh my gosh, what is this little thing called? The little... oh my gosh, I feel so like brain fog right now. But anyway, I don't know how to explain what the heck I'm trying to say per usual. I didn't have very much caffeine today, so my apologies. But anyway, what I'm trying to say is I found a way to actually get the debug catalog to work for me, and I'm really excited because now I actually know now I actually know how to navigate through it and find all the objects that I need, like the stones. The stones are one of the things that I could never freaking find for some reason. It was just because of the way I was scrolling through it. I would just pass right by it and I wouldn't even notice it because I would essentially scroll over it and I just straight up, it's just not in my view. So anyway, that's just something to celebrate, I guess. Here is where I'm kind of changing everything up. This is like mid-gameplay and play testing and things like that. So I really, like I said, I'm repeating myself, but I really like the way that this all turned out. I'm glad that I toned down with the reds a little bit. I do tone down the reds in the sense that, like I said, I get rid of that couch. Well, I don't get rid of it, but I just change the color of it. And then I also change the color of the curtains in here. And when I was taking screenshots, I was just like, I don't know, this is just like too red. Like it just didn't seem very like country remote-esque with all the reds in here. Just, it was like a little bit too much. So that was kind of why I decided to change it. And then I added a window here and added some plants, which I felt like just made total sense with having the window here. So we are getting up on the screenshots now. Thank you guys so much for watching, and please make sure to comment, like, subscribe, and turn on post notifications so you're aware of when I post on Mondays. I will see you guys in another build. Bye!